I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Chris Brune, Adam Carson, Linda Hoag, Ray Lapinus, Amy Rath, John Reinert, Carolyn Schofield, Connie Machini.
Here. Public comment. Is there anyone out there that wants to make public comment? If not, we're going to go right on. I don't think anybody, you would have raised your hand if you want to speak, right? So. Oh, yeah. Are you public comment?
There's another name before me, so I didn't want to jump the line.
Oh, okay. State your.
Thank you so much, Rob Muter, Warp Core. I stand here in front of this amazing group of people, staff and board members, completely grounded in gratitude for you all, the hard work you guys got to do. Can't even fathom the work and the intensity of what you guys are going through in this process of 2026 funding. Again, I'm just so thankful for 2 years of funding. We're looking forward to a positive third year funding from the Mental Health Board. What we do is very much a unique niche in trying to fill these gaps in the system. Working with kids and the low income and unhoused in our community, our numbers continue to grow. More than I ever fathomed at this point. To be where I'm at today as an executive director of this small agency that's growing into something pretty powerful, it's shocking in a good way to me that we've gotten this far, that we have this much community support, and it's just really important, I think, as we look at these hard decisions you all got to make moving forward. I'm going to be that voice that never stops saying a couple common things to anyone that'll listen. And one is that prevention for youth before corruption is as important as putting a Band-Aid on the current state of people in the throes of mental health and addiction. There has to be a different way somehow we can find to get more programming-related dollars, I'll call them, associated with prevention. With what Lupe and YFC is doing, Brenda at the break, and us in Woodstock, these are big challenges we face every day. If I had 30 minutes, I could stand here and tell you just about my day today and the things we're experiencing working with these kids. And, it's heavy and it's real, but, the two things that I'm never going to stop trying to communicate to, again, anyone who will listen is we need more resources for these younger kids before they fall into the throes of a mental health crisis or an addiction crisis or homelessness. So much appreciate what you guys have done for the street outreach side for Warp Core in the first 2 years of funding. Huge. I hope you know the positive impact you're bringing to the people that need our help most. To be that person that can help somebody that no one else is willing to help, that's unhoused, struggling, wherever they might be. This is huge, and we are just completely grounded in gratitude for the funding, and we look forward to more in the years to come. But I do say, standing here today, again, physical fitness is a huge component to better mental health. I'm never going to stop saying that. I'm living proof of that. That's how I dealt with my own mental health issues as a young person when I was struggling to get sober and those things that I experienced personally. But, just truly thankful, and I just hope that you all can make it through this amazingly hard process of figuring out how to put this money out there the right way. And we just always ask for your consideration looking to the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for public comment? If not, we're going to move into presentations. The two presentations we have tonight, the first one, if you'd come up to the microphone, Rockin' the Spectrum. Introduce yourself and tell us all about, because you're brand new to all of us.
Okay. My name is Linda. I have with me Elizabeth and John. They're on my board. I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to share with you today. I am the founder and director of Rockin' the Spectrum. Oh, okay. Multitask, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Liz, you wanna? She is my right hand. So I am the founder and the director, and most importantly, I am a mom to a daughter with special needs. My daughter is 28, she's nonverbal, she needs 24-hour care. She is smart, funny, beautiful, but that's not the side that many people get to see, because too often, all they see is she's too much work. When I was trying to find her a day program, I was told there's no place for her. If my daughter was turned away, I knew so many others had to be too, because they were labeled having behaviors. But what does that really mean? For many of our adults, those behaviors are how they communicate. Self-injury, meltdowns, yelling, refusing tasks, or running when overwhelmed. These aren't acts of defiance, they're signs that they're in distress, anxiety, or sensory overload. Most programs want a ratio of 1 staff per 6 participants, but so many adults in McHenry County cannot work with that. They need a lot more people working with them. So we wanted to create a place where individuals would truly feel accepted, a place built on inclusion, compassion, acceptance, and belonging. Sometimes organizations would say they were inclusive, but that version of inclusive often still leaves our families out. If you have to be quiet and calm, that's not inclusion for our families. At Rockin', inclusion means meeting people where they are, supporting their needs, and celebrating every person's differences. We started small. We went with sensory-friendly events, respite nights, and families came up to us in tears saying this was the first time they ever felt welcome. From there, we grew into a non-for-profit serving McHenry County with multiple different programs. I gave you guys folders because we do have a lot of different programs, and I was only given 10 minutes. So I'm staying focused. But our day program is for 18 and older, and I know most are for 22, but when you have behaviors, 18 is a good place to start because they're usually out of school by that point. We offer respite, and we do support groups, and we have a lot of family events. And we do a community outreach with our sensory tent. And our sensory tent this summer visited about 70 events. Lake in the Hills Rib Fest, McHenry Musical Festival, and McHenry Chamber does a special needs carnival. This is their 2nd year. And we go to Volo Museum every 3rd Sunday of the month because they have Sensory Sunday. They turn the dinosaurs off so kids can walk, or adults can walk through. I say kids because everyone's younger than me. So please forgive me. We are also working closely with Lake in the Hills. They want to bring inclusion to their programs, so we attend a lot of their programs. What we do is we bring a tent, and we have toys, and I don't know, Lizzie, is there a picture?
I showed a little bit, but I don't know if it's.
The one over there in the bottom, we bring a whole bunch of toys and stuff for adults and children to do. And a lot of normal developing children visit us too, which we think is great because that's a start of understanding inclusion. They get to play with our sensory tents and, our sensory bins and everything, so people, now they see kids doing it and they're like, oh yeah, that was cool when I did that. So it kind of makes them fit in better. But in McHenry County, hundreds of families are still waiting for services. And without programs like ours, many would never ever receive help at all. We work with individuals across all levels of autism, but we specialize in those that need extra help. Individuals who often require one-on-one support, adaptive environments, and staff who understand complex communication and sensory challenges. Most importantly, we never turn a family in need away. Whether a person needs extra support, has been rejected from other programs, or families simply don't know where to start, we always find a way to help them. Using the data provided by PUNS list, we can only estimate. Not all families are on PUNS list, not all families know about PUNS list. So we have a good estimate that there's close to like 900 families in McHenry County that have autism at a level requiring 24/7 or at least intensive support. The gap is part of what we at Rock and the Spectrum want to address. We're hoping no family has to face this alone, because it truly takes a village. When we talk about autism, we often focus on the individual, but the family's mental health is deeply affected too. Many parents provide 24-hour care, often on little sleep, managing medical needs, behaviors, and safety risks, while caring for other children and keeping their household together. Research has shown that caregivers of individuals with autism experience stress levels similar to combat soldiers. When families find Rockin', they find a safe place to excel, to connect, to rest, and to see hope again. Our work just isn't about programs, it's about protecting the mental health and stability of the entire family. Our day program is the heart of Rockin'. From the beginning, I knew it would be. Our classes are small, and they're built for each participant's unique needs. What we do in our day program, we have life skills, which is personal care, learning independence, brushing their teeth, and yes, these are 20-year-olds, and they're still learning this. One participant we have, she just started to learn how to open food, so now she's learning to eat food on her own. And she is 24? Okay, so she's so excited every day. At lunchtime, she's just overwhelmed, and then she gets to open her own food, but people just wouldn't take time to sit with her and show her. It was easier just to do it. So that's one of our, big accomplishments is she's learning how to live independently. We do a lot of social activities, friendship and teamwork. We bring participants in slowly, and we create a safe and belonging environment for them. And then friendships, once thought impossible, are really forming in our day program. We still do learning, because a lot of our kids' behaviors, they didn't get to learn a lot in school. And we feel you should never stop learning. So we work with a new participant, and we find out we're back to ABCs, how high they can count, or whatever level they are. And we design a program around them. And we want them to learn how to sign their own names. And we just keep going from there. And if you wanna, we started making and packing sensory bins. Most of our kids will never hold a job, but that doesn't mean they can't do things. You will open it and show it to, Jen, you wanna take one?
Some stuff that we.
So they work with teamwork, and they work exciting. They color the rice, all different colors. They get to measure it and fill the bags. And the parents, they were like, it'll never happen. And if you want, you can touch it. It feels really
Wow.
good. Our day program isn't just a place to go, it's a place to grow, to belong,
I do
and to
want
be
to touch.
valid.
We do different ones.
With the right support, our team can give each
Different
participant
sensory
and family attention and care they deserve, while keeping the program strong, stable, and ready to grow. The outcomes we get to see every day are clear. Adults gaining independence and skills, friendships being formed, families finding hope and stability, caregivers finding relief and support, a community learning to include everyone. Our families, and my own, never thought this could be possible. My daughter loves her day program. She belongs, she's making friends, and it's all hers. Thankfully, she is not alone. Our other participants feel this way too. With you guys' support, we can expand our reach so no one is turned away. so our lost families know they belong, and we can bring normalcy to a very chaotic lives. Rockin' the Spectrum was built by families for families. Together, we could create a stronger, more inclusive McHenry, where every individual has a place to belong. We can continue building a community where every person is valued and no one is left behind. So I do invite you all, if you ever want to visit one of our day programs, our family events, talk to our families. Jen here was a family, and then she came over to our board. So if you guys ever want to see the firsthand impact of the work we're doing, you're welcome to come see. We have a different group, so it'll probably, like you can't just walk in the front door, but we can definitely let you see what happens. My daughter is older now, and things have come such a long way with autism. But being a mom who has cried herself to sleep, not knowing how to make it another day, I can say I have found a way now. And I rest a little easier at night knowing my Barbara will be okay when I'm gone, because she'll have Rockin'.
Can I ask?
Oh, she's got a question already.
I got a question. How many, two questions.
Okay.
How many students, clients, I don't know what you call them, how many do you see at Rockin' the Spectrum?
We call
Pardon me?
them.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Participants.
I wanted to know how many that you are serving right now.
Right now, we serve about 25,
Okay.
but it could be an hour. Some of our families haven't been out since COVID.
Okay,
So they have a hard time adjusting. And I say we accept behaviors because we do. But we do work with them before they come in to make sure no one else is getting hurt or they hurt themselves. So it's not like we're just like, come on in, let's have a ball, let's see who makes it. We definitely take it slow, introduce. One of my daughter's best friends right now, she hated everyone who came in. Every time someone came in, she was like, "Ugh," and she'd get up. The only time she'd get up is to hit them. So we worked with her, and now she greets people, and she tells them their dress is nice. So it's a lot of work.
Right.
And we take our time, but we get it right. I don't know how, magic, but we get it right.
okay. And how many staff do you have?
Staff, we have 2 staff, but we have a lot of volunteers. And a lot of them are moms who have kids that are in elementary school, and they're thinking about their future. So they want to see how day programs work. They're already familiar with behaviors, so it's a blessing. We need to hire more. That's why we're here. But so far we've gotten away with volunteers. Lizzie and I are volunteers too, and we work.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions anyone has? I'm trying to see here. Linda,
There we go. How long are they there for the day program?
It varies. We can go half a day, we can go an hour. Sometimes it takes 6 months to go an hour, and then they'll move on. The goal is from 10 to 3. And a lot of times we have to come in earlier after because parents are trying to get from work and they don't have anyone else that can care for them.
And where do you do this at? Where do you meet at?
Crystal Lake, 829 Virginia.
When
It's
it's
right
like
across-
Nick's Pizza.
Yeah, right across from Nick's Pizza. So at a time, we try not to have more than 7 in a class, because that's 4 teachers right there.
Thank you, and thanks for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
is there any other questions anyone has? Otherwise, it's been really eye-opening. I didn't know you were there.
Oh,
Have you ever, just curious, MCAP is here? Do you know MCAP?
no,
MCAP is a program that is in this building, sort of in this building, kitty corner, if you go out our door here, and they serve more severe cases, and it's mostly run by parents. It's not funded by us whatsoever. So I ask, the reason I say that, you may want to meet with them just to see what they're doing, but they're right here,
Okay, yeah.
okay?
You have another member in the queue.
Huh?
You have another member in the queue.
Okay, I'm trying to, oh, of course, Carolyn, I'm sorry.
Of course.
Of course, Carolyn.
I'm curious, so I'm looking through your application and your spreadsheet, your worksheet on your revenue and expenses, and I'm really still not clear, because like the number I'm seeing on the spreadsheet is different from your request number. And then trying to, oh, darn it.
I couldn't get her on.
Oh, I thought I was.
Well-
I can hear you.
Because I'm really loud. Okay, so sorry. So because the numbers are on the spreadsheet, I may be reading it wrong, but from what I see, the numbers are different than the request number. And then also trying to understand, like I understand your agency and what you do, but then trying to understand what you would be able to do or what you would utilize these dollars for.
Are you talking about the day program or the Autism Moms Connection?
I'm talking about what your request is for. So like,
She had two.
oh, okay. Oh, then that's where I'm getting, well, then, oh, okay. So you, oh,
One-
that's where I
One is for
see
the
on
day
okay.
program.
So,
With the day program, I requested 2 positions.
okay,
And then
so that's,
with the
okay.
Autism Mom Connection, I think it was like 48,000.
Yeah, and I don't see on there, on your worksheet that, what that would be used for then,
Okay,
where that would fall.
I meant to do it. I thought I
Am I
did.
missing
I'll have
it?
to double check it. And I don't have the exact numbers, I can email them to you. But roughly that is to get supplies and respite care for the moms that are, in desperate need. It's not one size fits all. It's a support group, so to speak. But we do things to support their lives at home. We don't come to tell about, oh, I had a bad day, can you hold my hand? It's kind of like we prepare meals. So, and then we do like 100 meals. And then parents come in and take their meals. So it's one less thing they have to do at home. I don't know if that makes sense.
Can
So
I jump?
that's what that would be used for?
Yes, so it would be supplies. I needed an oven. So, and then it would be like storage containers so they can take it home. And I think I asked for like 3,000 for the first go-around of food, sugar, flour, everything, so we can make everything from scratch.
But you were asking for staff, too.
Well,
Not for that one.
And then the other one
That
was
for
2
the day
positions?
program.
Well, that's what you're getting funded, that's what the recommendation is getting funded for.
Yeah, I asked for 2 in the day program. See, now my boss can hear and she's gonna be like, what did you do?
So, yeah, so I guess that's what so you're asking for 2. Are you going to be adding 2 staff, or do you already have, it's to already supplement the 2 that you have, that you said there
No,
are?
this is 2 different staff.
So would you be adding 2 new
Yes.
staff? And are you planning on doing that either way?
Yes, well, hopefully. It kind of depends when it can happen.
Okay, and then what would that look like to the program? Like, would you be able to expand by so many, I'm sorry, I was looking at this when you said if you call them students or,
Well, like I said, the program manager was what I asked for. And that would be a person who comes in and develops a plan for that person, like I told you about the ABCs and stuff, so we can figure out where they are. They can, help with parents, what they need, figure out transportation, kind of stuff like that. There's a lot of cancels in our line of work because people call out or whatever, so they can fill in. If there's an extra behavior, they can fill in with that. So they would be pretty much trained all around. And I currently am the head teacher right now, and I would love to hire someone to be a head teacher. So So there would be 2 head teachers.
Okay, and is it filled by volunteers mostly now then in that area?
Neither is, yes.
Okay, and then, and also in your application, you had included like a flow chart. Are those mostly volunteers that are on there, or how are those filled in? Because you said you only have 2 employees, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the rest of the organizational chart is all volunteers?
Yes.
Okay,
And we run into trouble with that because they're volunteers and it's a lot of time. So it would be nice and consistent if we can hire someone and have the funds to do so.
so, and I'm sorry, one more time to just clarify. So going back to the question about, like, would you be able to serve more individuals, and have you quantified that as to how?
Yes, we'd be able to serve, like I said, only because, so I would be able to have 14 at a time instead of 7.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Wait a second, we have, Ray wants to ask a question.
Within your documentation, there's a $1,250 registration fee per applicant. What does that cover?
Oh, for my families. Usually we waive them because families don't have that kind of money. Most of my families, I think we work with 92% is low income. But if they do pay it, we get material designed around their child. How they learn, what they can learn, how I can set it up, and stuff like that.
Now, is this material you prepare, or is it a third party?
Well, I do prepare it, but I buy it from different areas. So then I can make it into a program for them.
Okay.
So I can go to Walmart and buy a whole bunch of stuff and then come back and build it around their needs.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other questions, I thank you very much. It's been
Thank
very,
you.
and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you very much.
Before we go on, I forgot one thing. We didn't introduce Amanda, who's our new deputy director over there. She could wave her hands. She's brand new to the agency. And in the audience, we have Father Jim, who got appointed by the Public Health Department, or what is it, Public Health, Community, I always forget what you call it, but it has to go, Community Services, but he has to go in front of the county board to be approved, but he will be taking, can you wave your hand back there, Father Jim? Anyway, he will be taking Lindsay's position here on our board, probably end of October or November. So I just wanted to introduce 2 new people to our agency, I suppose, and on board. The next person to present is Crystal Lake Teen Center, The Break. Hi. Just introduce yourself and tell us all about what you're wanting.
Yeah, hello, and thank you for the opportunity. I can't lie, I have a lot of emotions after this presentation. I've been in the position of a startup. I feel everything that she just went through in trying to explain it and the need to expand, and it does piggyback on my break presentation when we talk about supporting parents and the importance of supporting parents in their busy lives when they're dealing with this. So I'm still recovering, so let me let me settle down here. I am Brenda Apples. I am the founder and the president and acting executive director of the Crystal Lake Teen Center, The Break. For those of you who haven't seen our presentation before, we were incorporated in January of 2013, so we will be 13 years as of 2026. We opened our doors June of 2014, and we've been going strong ever since. And like Rockin' the Spectrum, we started with a volunteer base. And thanks to the Mental Health Board and the support from the community, we were able to expand to an employee base, which has helped us significantly. I did put together a presentation, and what I would like to do is tell you about the programs that we've actually expanded this year beyond our drop-in program.
Can you, one thing, when you put in your request, it was, you combined two programs?
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, talk a little bit about. that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So we were supported, I believe, around 2020 for a part-time prevention specialist, which then we were able to, over the years, expand. We now have a full-time prevention specialist, and the grant that we have received, the support we've received from the Mental Health Board was for purchase of position. We have asked for grant funding in the past and not received it, but we do have purchase of position. Last year, we were very fortunate to get the grant to support the prevention education, which supports going into the schools for vaping education, Journey to Recovery, along with the suspension program when kids get suspended for violations. So that was two separate grants that are purchase of position and a grant that we had last year. And I did ask to combine those two because as you'll go through the presentation, our program is basically the circle of support. It's very holistic and it all weaves together. So our goal at the break is, our vision and our mission, quite honestly, is to provide our adolescents and our young adults with a safe place to connect, have fun, find opportunities, and thrive into adulthood. We've seen gaps in our emerging adults having that ability, and we work to see that our kids can thrive. I don't think in this group I have to really elaborate on this slide, but 40% of students have experienced persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness, which then has translated into a lot of the anxiety, the depression, identifying with groups that have risky behaviors, such as substance misuse. I always put this in here. This is our break contract for our kids, and there are 8 rules that were created with our staff and our kids, and we have not expanded on them at all because everything fits into this category of respect and the idea that everybody's inclusive and we will not tolerate bullying and intimidating. I actually have to backtrack. We added a 9th rule that hasn't been added yet, and that was because somebody brought a wild bunny into the break over the summer, and we now have a no wild animals rule on there. So, membership to the break. This was, again, created by the original group of teens who started it, who were sophomores from Crystal Lake South. They wanted buy-in, so full member privileges are $10 a month, a reduction for 27 for 3 months, $99 for a year. It includes all of our drop-in and any activities that we run. Nobody is ever excluded if they aren't able to pay a membership fee. We do have a financial policy that they can apply for that will reduce 75% and in an emergency situation, 100%. Out-of-school suspension program. So this program was started, last year was our full school year, but the prior school year, but it was 2023, we got a call from District 47 because they had so many kids who were being violated for substance misuse, specifically vaping in the schools. So they asked us what we could do to pivot to help them, because the more kids get suspended, it puts them on a trajectory where they could actually get expelled from that school, and it's a whole different set of obstacles for them. So our staff pivoted at the end of that school year. What we have right now is a 3 to 5 day, sorry, I thought we had one here, 3 to 5 day suspension program. We get contacted by District 47. They have a substance misuse violation. We get buy-in from the parents. They are then transported to the break, where we have substitute teachers that make sure that they stay caught up with missing assignments. We have coaches and staff who work on goal setting with the kids, kind of find out where they are, individual one-on-one sessions. We bring in Live for Lolly. Depending on what's going on with the students, we bring in any organization that might fit their needs for resource connection, but also their goals. So it has been very successful. The parents then come in at the end of the program, and we have a meeting with the parents to talk about any resource connection that we might have recommended or goals that they have identified that we can also support. They also get a membership to the break after that. So the time that got started, we did our first out-of-school suspension. I think we had about a week in between, and then I think through the end of the school year, we were just going with kids who were suspended. And we considered it very, very successful and in liaison with the school. Part of the reason District 47 was able to partner with us was because they did have a grant, the school-based mental health grant, their LAKE grant. Recently, that has been pulled. However, through December 31st, they are still able to support it on some level. So we are using some funds from District 47 and able to support this program and the summer program that has piggybacked after this program, from the needs of the out-of-school suspension program. Last thing I'll say on the out-of-school suspension program, and through the help of the grant writer through the Mental Health Board, we were able to receive, through the Advanced Human Potential, a grant that also supports this program. So the two programs are married together with support from you and then from BASE. That program last year through BASE took a while to get started, but we have that also for this year as well. The long-term goal of this program is to expand beyond District 47. For us, we're Crystal Lake, it's local, it is easier to get the students to us. Obviously, District 155 would be a district that we would want to partner with, but truthfully, we want to get this out, and we have started conversations with as many other school districts in the county as we can. Working on logistics on how we can either take the program that we have, let them take that and see if there's a way that they want to work with it in their own community, or how we can be supportive. So there are goals to expand this. I've not talked to anyone about this program who doesn't realize the impact and the positive benefits from it. Having been a parent of a student who was suspended as a sophomore and junior in high school, I know sending him home either to me to try to make sure he's out of bed doing his schoolwork and staying out of the trouble for the reason he got into was very challenging. But most of our parents right now are working. They don't have those options. So coming to us is definitely beneficial. I'm sure you have more questions on this program, but I'll go ahead and finish the presentation so that we can come back to it. Summer program. We launched this after the very first pilot program for the suspension program. Part of what we were starting to get calls for from parents who had spent some time with us was, hey, I have to work, school's out, I don't have anywhere for my teen to go. I need a place for them to be able to still be a teenager, but also be able to have some supervision. We had parents who had, members who had mental health crises, actually, at the end of the school year, who, again, needed some additional support. They did not want them left home alone. So that summer, we pivoted. We started the summer program, and it was a wing and a prayer. It was a lot of Brenda Naples and Lori Crane from Best Communities coming in to make sure that we had staff, getting staff on board. We then used some of the funds that we got from the District 47 program, along with RibFest, to support it this summer. We had 35 kids sign up, all of which came in and out. 23 of those kids were consistent most of the year, and we were able to reduce financial barriers for going to Great America, for going to Urban Air, for doing all of the activities that I do think teens should be able to do during the summer, but the financial barriers are quite great. Having said that, I'd like to piggyback and go back to our parents. So I have a lot of working parents right now. I have wonderful parents. I have supportive parents. They are willing to drop off food, do whatever. They are so grateful to have a place that they can take their kids and do the things that that they can't provide for them while they're working. So many times, even if there is a financial constraint at home, they are there supporting in any way they can. And if they have the opportunity, they will pay for the activities for them, for the kids themselves. Sound waves. Okay, from the beginning of the break, our members and the kids who started the break are musicians. So we have a lot of those kids coming back. Well, what happened was we learned that, I was a parent who paid for music lessons for my kids, and I had no idea the cost had increased by as much as it had for music lesson. We're talking $60, for a lesson, to go through months. So kids are definitely kept out of these if they don't have money. So that group of kids that started the break pivoted. we make sure they have access. Every student or every member who comes in gets 4 free lessons to explore voice, guitar, bass, drums, ukulele. They do music production. We had a parent come in the other day asking for help with clarinet for their child, and they went to Piano Trends, and they're trying to work that out. We are really trying hard to make sure these kids have access. After the 4 free trial lessons, we do charge for the lessons. However, if there is a financial need, we have been soliciting and doing fundraising so that we can reduce those barriers as well for at least 75% of the fee that would be covered. And again, in emergency situations, we would pay for 100%. Very proud of this program. There's a lot of goal setting. As you can see, we had kids perform at RibFest this year, and they definitely plan to increase their opportunities for sharing and getting out on stage. 1 Million Monarchs is not a new program for us. It's a program that we absorbed, but I wanted to highlight this. It's 1 Million Monarchs. 1 Million Monarchs was started by Stacy Sassine, who was a 16-year-old when her mother passed away. After she passed away, the kind of support she got was getting called into the office where they asked her if she was okay. She said yes, and she went about her business, and she missed out on a lot, not having a mom as a 16-year-old trying to navigate such a loss. So she started this program as a not-for-profit. The Break has since absorbed it as a program that we continue to run for teens, and we do work with Lisa Orris from Grief Guide as a mentor for our coaches. Youth Empower Alliance, very excited about this. We got grant funding through the Community Foundation for a transformational grant. Last year was the first year that we had this grant. We formed youth committees in Woodstock, Crystal Lake, Harvard, McHenry, and a countywide substance awareness coalition. 2 of those got the full year to work on them, and that was Woodstock with Warp Core and Turning Point, and then Crystal Lake was The Break and Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Harvard and McHenry jumped in later, as well as substance awareness. We were able to have a youth-led conference in June of last year where the kids all presented on topics that were important to them. Topics that were important to them in Woodstock, actually, and McHenry. And part of Harvard was transportation and the lack of safety for kids to have autonomy and independence to get to locations. I have to highlight Warp Core and in Woodstock as they had an action that went along with it. They had a petition for a particular corner that was not accessible, and that problem has been solved as of this year. So we were very excited about that. We are already starting with our second year with our established group, and we're working to include groups that from Cary and Huntley, we're in conversations, but also a special needs group. So that would be Options and Advocacy, Gigi's Playhouse in Nizra. So youth or emerging adults in those areas that we're able to, we want to give them voice as well. So very excited about this. This is potentially a 3-year grant that we should be able to have positive impact, leadership, and advocacy for our youth. Prevention, education, and recreation. We spoke to this. Our prevention and our recreation, they go hand in hand. So our kids come into the Break every day for our drop-in program, and they have opportunities met there by our recreation engagement person, and they have opportunities, but let's face it, what we do best at the Break is we connect with them. We have young, amazing staff that's able to connect with them, that has skills in not only vetting their interest, the goal setting, but also so that they, if something comes up, especially our prevention and wellness specialist is able then to have conversations and do resource connecting as needed. Prevention, education, and recreation are not separate silos, but interconnected supports. I hate reading slides to people because you can read them, but I don't want to skip over it, but it is holistic. Result of our circle of support, they're educated to make healthy choices, they're engaged in positive outlets, empowered to develop lifelong skills, encouraged by mentors and peers who believe in their potential. And the most important thing we do is our drop-in program, because we have the ability to keep them from as early as 6th grade until they graduate from high school. And once our kids feel that connection and they feel that they all all talk about it as being a sense of family, they stay. And so then we're able to do all of these things, and then if need be, Resource Connect as emerging adults, but a lot of them are coming back to us to give back to what they had. And thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. For those of you who've seen me a few times, this program was very grassroots. It was started in a car ride with my son and his friends, and what it's evolved to today, and the professionalism, the way we've been able to pivot and evolve with different eras and, you know, COVID and energies and students. I'm very proud of the break. I'm very proud of the staff and the alumni who've stuck with us. So I do mean thank you very much. And I'm sure you have questions, so hopefully I'm ready to answer them all.
And I do. First, thank you for all your work. I remember when you started, and
Yeah.
I mean, and to see you grow and
Thank
the people
you.
involved is pretty amazing. So with Circle of Support, you introduced a lot of information and different programs. Do they all fall under, besides prevention, do those all fall under the Circle of Support that you're calling it?
Everything falls under Circle of Support. It's basically the break. We call it the Circle of Support because that's who we feel that we are, and that's the program that we've asked for funding, then received purchase of position funding from the Mental Health Board.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood maybe last year. Were you just introducing the suspension one into the Circle of Support?
So last year, because it was so new, we were looking for prevention education funding as a grant to support all of the factors that go into it. And I will be very honest, I've applied for a grant every year for Circle of Support as well, but we've been supported on purchase of position. I was very fortunate last year in the way the grant process went to be awarded the full ask for the grant, which was very beneficial. But yes, my intention is always that the Circle of Support is a grant that funds and supports what the break does on a holistic level.
Okay, and the reason I ask that is because I was actually the one that wanted to bring you in to clarify this, because I do remember the conversation last year about expanding into the school districts, like asking specifically the school districts to become more invested into that suspension program. I don't know, I apologize, I don't remember what you called it because it was really early on. And now, like, seeing that they're actually doing the opposite, I think that when we were investing in the full funding last year, it was kind of with that stipulation of, we will full fund it because we understand it takes time to develop those relationships and have those conversations. And honestly, I'm not disappointed in you, I'm disappointed in the school districts that they're not supporting this program. I really, really think a big portion of that suspension program should come from the school districts. And if we need to have those conversations, I am happy to do that, because I think they actually are more responsible than you are. You are stepping up to fill a need. But I mean, these are kids that are in their school system that they're responsible for on a daily basis to provide that education for. And yes, it's unfortunate that that child did something to be suspended, but I think that their responsibility doesn't end when they say you're now suspended. And for them to not invest into that program, to want to partner with you, I just find so disappointing.
Yeah.
And I will publicly say that, and I would gladly say it at a school board meeting, because I just feel like you are offering something that they can benefit from. You are creating a more positive environment for these students to find their place, to go back into the school and actually perform better. And that partnership, I think, is so critical. And for them to actually disinvest in this rather than investing more, which is what I was hoping, I mean, I want to know why, and I want to know what we can do to change that, because not to say, I don't want to invest in it, but I think they should be the one having that substantial investment into that program specific, and then we can utilize those funds to help others, even more. And you're doing great work, and I don't want this to sound like on you at all, but I was really wanting the school districts to step up more, and they've done exactly the opposite of what I was hoping for. So I don't know what we can do
Can
to
I speak
help
to
it.
the reason I don't disagree. Again, I've been in these positions, and I agree that our students need to be supported on a different level. It's time, it's everything that goes into it, but the reason we got the funding from District 47 was truly because of that grant. They were able to actually partner with other organizations in the community. It's a very unique grant. It's a really fascinating grant. They were able to partner with other agencies in the community. I don't know whether it's factual or not, but I feel like that's where the breakdown happens with the schools, is they don't have that type of funding to do that. They're not unwilling to support the kids, but yeah, I'm speaking on topics I probably don't know about, but I do know that District 47, that was the reason that we were able to even pilot it in the first place, and that will go away after the first of the year, unless, you know, everything's tied up in court and what have you. I don't know how that works, but I do want to continue what we do. At the break, we've already had our students, you know, besides the presentation, I won't go into that whole detail, but it was powerful on how we were able to help this kid, and then also meet with the school social worker, and then get those wraparound services. Let's face it, they're kids. I don't know if he's going to have more bumps in the road, but I do know that we had a chance to make an impact.
And I agree with you 100%. And I just have to say how disappointed. They can find it. I mean,
Maybe I need to make them work harder.
Yeah, they can find it. I mean, it was $20,000. I mean, come on. Their budget, I don't know what their budget is, but it's a lot. $20,000 to support some of the most in-need kids in their district, that is not a lot to ask. So I am happy to show up to one of their meetings and tell them that, because this is super, super disappointing that they did not step up. And grant or not, like, grants come and go, and you then make the decision of if that program comes and goes with it. And then by saying, sorry, is saying that they don't, I mean, like, that's, and I know this is odd, but I will get on my high horse of, like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that they didn't step up and say, this is a grant. We understand it's going away, but we're going to find a way to keep that program going. And they didn't prioritize it. And I think that's just really, really disappointing.
So all I can do is offer to have that conversation with you, and we can go together, because I think that it is a powerful conversation for the school board specifically to hear what the ability that we have for impact for these kids.
Absolutely. And, you know, I hope that we can continue that, because this needs to be a program, you know, continued and actually expanded, and they need to invest in it. So I'll get off my mouth.
I appreciate your high horse so bad.
But the one other question, so what percentage of that circle of support would you say is specific to the suspension program?
To the suspension so for the way we wrote the grant this year, a very large portion would go to the prevention and wellness specialists that we fund to do that, as well as the occupancy and recovery coaches. We've tied that in for the most part to an employee that we're able to fund through the other grant, but it's our substitute teachers and our homework club that we're really, really pushing this year, because it was unanimous with all kids that their problem, one of their biggest indicators that they were going to have an issue was the fact that they had so many missing assignments. And getting that individual help, I understand they have IEPs and they have whatever, but getting to a kid on the level that's important to them. And the reasons were anything from a language barrier to diagnosis to boredom at school. I mean, we were able to bridge that gap with a social worker and find strategic ways to do that, but they have to get the successes at school, because if they don't meet those milestones, they're falling behind. They're not identifying with things that are going to help them meet their goals. And we need to get creative as to what those goals are and how we meet them. School is the one that we're supporting the most in trying to make sure that our substitute teachers are supported. Mathnasium was another one that came in and is helping us also for individualized support with math. I feel like I'm going all over the place, because it is all over the place because it's so individual, but it's really important. So last year, we had a later start with the kids who came to the break. We're already started this year. I expect it to be a busy year.
So when you say substitute teachers, are they district teachers? Are they They are. So
Yeah,
the district actually does
so,
provide substitutes.
we have
at least.
three, actually, if you include myself. So I'm a certified substitute teacher. I have a retired teacher who comes in and he does it.
Well, that's what I mean. Are they volunteers or are
No,
they? Oh,
I'm
okay.
paying them, yeah.
You are?
Through the grant, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Through the AHP grant, they do get paid.
Okay.
And I'm passionate about that because they are coming in, and if I can't get people to come in consistently, volunteers aren't always going to be there. And it's very specific help.
And I appreciate it, but I would like to continue the conversation. with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
You know, I worked at a school,
Yes, ma'am.
and the school won't pay for anything unless you really stand there and say you need to. They'll say they don't have the money.
Yeah.
But when kids get suspended, I can tell you, many of them that I worked with, and I worked with the kids that had substance abuse issues, were like, all right,
Yes.
my parents work all day.
Yes.
I'm going to sit home and I'm going to smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, or drink or whatever the substance is. So going to your program is a godsend. It really is. That is there. And I do know a parent that's son went to your program, and she said he came out the other end a lot better and is doing well in school. Because when he was out, he got teaching, filling in his assignments that were not there, did everything for him. But the other, I agree with you. I think it is a district issue, but whether they'll step up and say they have the money, because every time I ever brought up anything is, we don't have the money.
Yeah, please remember, I've been in this position since my kids went through it, so beating down the doors that might not open is why we've done what we've done, so.
Right, I'm just saying, I know.
No, I hear you
the
loud and
issue.
clear, Connie, I understand.
the issue.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions? John?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Because it just piqued my interest. So when 47 calls you, we have some kids that are suspended. Do they assign the kids to you? Are they not counted as a truant or away from class?
So yes, that is my understanding. It's an alternative to suspension, to a mark. So they,
That means, right? They could still get collect for the student in class,
okay, so that is out of my realm.
right? Because when a student is not in class, their state funding gets cut per diem for a student. But if they're assigning to you, and then they still can't pay you for that, I think this is a conversation for that school board.
Yeah, well, District
But thank
47
you,
is
and I
paying us,
still
yes.
support you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, talk about a double dip.
Yeah. And again, all I can speak to for District 47 is the grant that we were a part of.
John, you're right. You're right.
And just, trivia, so the kids do have to buy in to it, which, let's face it, parents have a hand in getting buy-in for it, but it is voluntary. So,
Are there any other questions? If not, I think you have some people that will go with you if you want
it
to
sure
go.
sounds like it.
If you want to go
I have
in
your
front of any
emails, so.
district. But thank you
right,
for the
thank you.
work you do, because I do know some parents and students that are so pleased with what you do.
Thanks, Connie.
So-
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay. We're going to move along to the consent agenda, because we're done with our presentations. We need to approve the consent agenda, which is our funding agreements, our access grant, and our opiate settlement. However, there is a section in our agreements that we want to change, and I'll just read it to you. It's publicity requirements. I think Linda had an issue, and I'll just read you so that we can approve it all together. The provider in all social media, website reports, brochures, and flyers regarding mental health board program funding will include the following information. This program is funded in part or in full by the McHenry County Mental Health Board and complies with all applicable reporting and use guidelines. Providers need to supply the Mental Health Board with any press release or printed material related to the mental health funding use. The provider may include the mental health logo, the McHelp app or code on all materials and publications and presentations and websites and other communication related to funding project. The logo or QR code must not be altered in any way or used in a misleading context. Upon completion of the grant use, the logo must stop unless otherwise approved in writing, meaning that they should recognize us if we're giving them funding. So that will be a change. So when you give me a motion to approve the agreements, this will be in here. So I need a motion to approve the draft funding agreement, the agreement for access grant, and the opiate settlement funding agreement with the change.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Okay. We have to vote on our little machine. Okay, it's passed. 7 yeses. Old business, the FY '26 funding plan discussion. We've all gone over it. If any of you have any issues with the funding plan, which is this, please let Bridget, Mel, anyone know if there's any issue or problems or anything that you see, because in October on our meeting, we will be voting on this funding. So unless somebody wants to discuss something now, you want to say something?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sure, Carolyn, just a minute, let me bring that up, okay. There you go.
No, I just want to be organized going into this. So maybe I would appreciate a couple minutes of discussion on it. Because I had mentioned before, if anyone's going to take or increase funding in one location, to make sure it offsets funding in another location, just so as we know, we need to be very, very strict on maintaining our budget for right now. So I just wanted to emphasize that point. And I don't know if people are planning on doing this, and maybe kind of take a couple minutes to see what that might look like. And I know in the past, we kind of had gone each item by item, which I assume, or we're not going to do that.
No, we're not going to do
You're
that.
going to just put it forward and then if
No,
people-
no. What's going to happen, we've gone through everyone, through the, what do you call it? We started with the judicial court system. We've gone through every single one. If somebody has a problem, an issue, a recommendation, or anything, you can bring that up, but we're not going to go through each individual.
Can I make a comment?
Yes?
So at our next meeting, my suggestion would be that we would have the same discussion item to start with. We'll have the funding plan as recommended, starting, right? We'll have the spreadsheet open so that we can, if anybody has any recommendations of moving anything, as Carolyn is stating, if you're going to take money from one area, we should try to be moving it to another, so that it's offsetting. Once we are set with that recommended plan, instead of voting on that plan as a whole, we will be going through agency by agency and running a vote
On the,
agency by agency. And so it will look something like, and I've had a conversation with Connie, and I asked Carolyn as well, so that we have somebody that would be making these recommendations. It would go something like, I motion to recommend FY26 funding for
the judicial
such
court.
agency for, and then the total amount for all programs. And then that way you're making a vote per agency for all programs total, so that
Yeah.
the public is seeing that you're voting on every single agency, all programs combined.
It's just not pulling each one apart unless you.
No,
Right,
no, that's not
right,
what I meant. I
right.
meant just, I meant kind of how what Bridget's saying. And I'm just, and I like this idea from the point that it gives everyone the opportunity that, like, let's say there's sometimes somebody wants to decrease from one, but increase from another, and another person might not agree with that specific transfer of money, you have the opportunity to express your opinion on that individual one, but then you, as a whole, I mean, then you respect, you know, the vote that was taken on that individual agency. So as a whole, we can all agree on then how we move forward.
Right.
So I think that just allows for that opportunity where you may not have had it before, because there may have been some in the past that have been like, oh, I wanted to like let them know I maybe supported this one a little bit more, or, you know, feel like that movement maybe wasn't the direction I was going. And I think this will allow that opportunity to express that, but at the same time, support all of the organizations.
Yeah, well, I guess I said it wrong. I don't want to go through every individual one, and we're here until 10 o'clock at night.
No, I
The
meant it more, yeah.
agencies.
Well, it also gives you the opportunity to abstain, say no, if you choose to say no on one. And it also gives, you know, go one by one. And also, just to be clear, on that funding agreement, if the recommendation goes through as 0, you'll be voting on it as 0. And so you'll be voting yes to the 0. And then if it's a no that you decide you're not going to do it, then it would be a no. So then you'd have to figure out something else. So let's say that the staff recommends that agency 123 Main is 0. It needs to come back as a majority yes. Am I explaining that well? Yeah. So we will just go through agency by agency.
Right, and if you do have any kind of issue and you want to discuss it or whatever, please call and let's discuss it, then not bring it up that on the 28th. And by the way, the date is wrong on your agenda, it's the
Yeah.
28th. Bringing it up then, I mean, yes, bring it up then, but let's get a consensus, because if you said, I don't want to give X amount to this agency and I want to move it over here, I may say, no, I don't want to do that. You know, let's try to have some discussion ahead of time.
Yeah, just let's clarify that if you do have major questions, they do need to be brought up at the meeting, and you need to have those discussions. They cannot be happening
Right, no,
outside
but-
of the meeting, but I understand what you're saying, Connie. But that is also why we have that spreadsheet put together. If you want to start building any questions that you need to have us be prepared for October, we also have some board members that have reached out that we're going to meet with and answer some questions.
Right, well, I wasn't thinking of voting on it, but at least
Right.
saying, this is where I see it going, or this is what I question, or
Right.
these are my questions. I think if you got questions, let's get them answered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go individual by agency.
And I just wanted, I wanted to start that discussion in case anyone else wanted to jump in right now. So I just didn't want the meeting to go
Right.
by without having that. So thanks.
No problem.
Can I say one other thing? Just remember that if you are thinking about moving any of that opioid dollars, that would be very difficult. So that is a conversation, that would be a big conversation to have, because it's a very delicate balance. So moving any of that would be really playing Tetris, because not all of these agencies applied in both buckets. So the way that we moved that was very specific, the way that we suggested that, so just so you know.
Pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry, Carolyn.
And I turned it off, and I'm sorry. And I should have, because I always have to comment after.
Okay,
But
you're on.
I actually want to even highlight that. I never even would think that. I mean, I wouldn't think about going outside of one to the other. So I would maybe highly recommend we don't do that.
Well, and the reason I'm saying this is because last year, one of the agencies, one of the programs, not the agencies, one of the programs got funded in both buckets, and it was not ideal for not only staff, but the agency. It's not a good situation. We need to keep the programs in the buckets,
They're
the
in.
separate buckets.
Good to know. Thanks.
Okay, so anyway, that's the funding plan, and if you have any questions, let's get them answered prior to the 28th, because we have to realize they've spent a lot of time on this plan. Okay, new business. I don't have any new business. There's no items under it. So we'll go to member comment. Does anybody have any members' comment? Well, if no member comment.
I'll just make one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carolyn. And you got to tell me to keep looking down. No, keep looking down.
Because I just want to comment, and I'm sure we'll do this again in a few weeks, but I, again, want to give a huge thank you to staff in all this work. This is, it's a lot of work, it's a lot to just review the work, so I can't imagine to actually do the work. And as I've seen providers out and about, I've asked them, what do you think about this new process? And I've gotten very positive feedback that it's easy to follow. The formula that you used, the logic and the reasoning was well thought out. So I appreciate the time to put into that and explain it to everybody and the time and effort that you all put into it. So thank you.
We all appreciate that, really and truly. It takes a lot of work to do this, so what Carolyn said is thank you to all of you over there. We have no executive session. Before we adjourn, one of the things that we will be doing on the 28th is we will be bringing Carolyn in as our treasurer. She's the assistant treasurer. We'll be doing that. So, big promotion you're getting. So, is there anything else?
Connie, one other item is the 15th.
Pardon me?
The 15th.
Oh, the 15th, I'm sorry. We don't need a meeting on the 15th. Yay. We're going to meet on the 28th at 6 o'clock. Now I need a motion for adjournment. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Nay opposed?